Tonight, you'll probably open your fridge without thinking. A few seconds later, you can grab ice cream, leftover pizza, a soda, maybe a midnight snack you don't even need. Calories are everywhere, cheap, endless, constant. But for 99.9% of human history, getting fat wasn't a problem. Not getting fat was because every pound of body fat on your body was once the difference between surviving and starving. And that raises a strange question. If ancient humans spent their lives hunting, gathering, walking, and struggling to find food, did they ever get fat at all? The answer is much stranger than you might think. Picture yourself waking up 30,000 years ago. The sun isn't up yet. Your stomach is already empty. You don't know where your next meal is coming from. There are no grocery stores, no refrigerators, no delivery apps, no guarantee you'll eat today, and yet your body is carrying something incredibly valuable. Fat, not the kind modern advertisements tell you to hate, the kind your ancestors depended on. To an ancient human, body fat wasn't a cosmetic issue. It was survival. Insurance. Every calorie stored beneath your skin was energy, saved for a future emergency, and emergencies were everywhere. Failed hunt, a long winter, a drought, an injury, a week of bad luck. The human body evolved. In a world where food arrived unpredictably, sometimes there was a feast, sometimes there was nothing. Your brain still carries that adaptation today. The reason a plate of cookies can feel impossible to resist may begin here. Your ancestors, who eagerly consumed calories when they found them, were more likely to survive the next famine. The ones who ignored food because they were already full enough often didn't leave descendants, which means you inherited the brains of survivors, not calorie counters. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer groups have found something surprising. Many traditional foraging populations are remarkably lean. Groups like the Hadza of Tanzania often walk miles every day and rarely experience modern levels of obesity. But that doesn't mean they are constantly starving. In fact, many hunter-gatherers eat enough calories to remain healthy and energetic. The difference is that their environment naturally limits excess energy storage. Food takes work, a lot of work. Imagine chasing an antelope for hours under a burning sun. Imagine digging roots from hard ground. Imagine climbing trees for honey while getting stung by angry bees. Every calorie entering your body usually costs calories to obtain. For most of human history, nature acted like a built-in gym membership. Nobody could cancel. But here's where things get interesting. Archaeologists have discovered evidence suggesting some ancient humans occasionally became surprisingly well-fed. Not year-round, not consistently, but during periods of abundance, when salmon runs filled rivers, when large animals were plentiful, when coastal communities had access to rich seafood. Some populations may have carried significantly more body fat than others. In other words, ancient humanity wasn't one uniform experience, a hunter crossing. Frozen tundra lived very differently from a fisher, living beside an abundant coastline. The story gets even stranger. Your body has specialized fat reserves that exist because starvation was once so common. Women naturally carry higher body fat percentages than men. That isn't an accident. Human babies are unusually expensive to grow. Pregnancy and breastfeeding require enormous amounts of energy. Anthropologists believe these fat reserves helped mothers survive periods when food became scarce. Your body still does this today, a biological strategy designed thousands of generations. Ego continues operating inside modern supermarkets and office buildings. But if fat was so useful, why didn't humans simply become enormous? Because being too fat created a different survival problem. Imagine trying to track prey across rough terrain while carrying dozens of extra pounds. Imagine fleeing from a predator. Imagine climbing cliffs, crossing rivers, or migrating hundreds of miles. Excess fat provided energy, excessive fat reduced mobility. Evolution was balancing two competing needs. Store enough energy to survive famine. Stay lean enough to survive everything else. That trade-off shaped the human body for hundreds of thousands of years, and then something happened. The environment changed faster than evolution could keep up for nearly all of human history. Calories were difficult to obtain. Then suddenly they weren't. Agriculture increased food availability. Industrialization increased it even more. Modern technology shattered every limit that once existed. Today, you can consume more calories in 10 minutes than some ancient humans might have found in an entire day. Your brain, however, is still running ancient software. It still reacts to sugar, fat, and salt as if they are rare treasures, because for most of human existence, they were. This instinct still exists today. That excitement you feel when smelling fresh pizza? Ancient. That craving for dessert after dinner? Ancient. That urge to keep eating even when you're technically full? Also ancient. The environment changed. The brain didn't, and the numbers are astonishing. Scientists estimate that humans spent hundreds of thousands of years as hunter-gatherers. Agriculture appeared only recently on the evolutionary timeline. Modern, processed food arrived so recently that, from an evolutionary perspective, it happened moments ago. Your body has barely had time to notice. Imagine bringing a Paleolithic hunter into a modern convenience store, an entire building filled with sugar, fat, salt, unlimited. Calories. No hunting required, no gathering required. No danger, no effort, just abundance. It would look less like a store and more like a supernatural miracle, or perhaps a trap. Because in a strange way, that's exactly what it is. The adaptations that once protected us are now colliding with an environment they were never designed for. The fat storage system that helped your ancestors survive, Winters is encountering unlimited access to food. The reward circuits that encouraged survival are meeting. Industrial food scientists. The result is a world no human lineage has ever experienced before. And yet, despite all our technology, pieces of the ancient world remain inside us. Your hunger, your cravings, your attraction to calorie-dense foods, your tendency to prepare for future scarcity even when scarcity never arrives. Those instincts were written during countless generations of survival. So did ancient humans get fat? Sometimes, but not in the way we think about it today. Fat wasn't a lifestyle. It was a tool. A temporary survival advantage in a dangerous world where the next meal was never guaranteed. And tonight, when you open your refrigerator and see shelves packed with food, remember something. Your ancestors would have considered that sight almost unimaginable. The world changed. The food changed. The challenges changed. But the body standing in front of that refrigerator is still carrying the survival instincts of people who never knew where tomorrow's meal would come from. And somewhere beneath modern comfort, that ancient human is still trying to prepare for winter.